Estamos de vuelta con más de este programa especial de Sede Cine desde la ciudad de Nueva York, dedicado a la película de terror Un lugar en silencio. Recuerden nuestra etiqueta del día de hoy, numeral Sede Cine en silencio, para que participen con nosotros. Y en esta parte vamos a conversar con John Krasinski, quien no solo es el protagonista de esta cinta, sino que además es el encargado de dirigir una de las películas que promete aterrar a todas las audiencias en este 2018. Después de interpretar durante 8 años al hilarante personaje de Jim Halpert en la galardonada serie The Office, John Krasinski ha logrado una transición exitosa de la televisión al cine, no solo como actor, sino también como director. Sus créditos delante de cámara incluyen participaciones en comedias como Licencia para casarse o Enamorándome de mi ex, y también en cintas más dramáticas como Un lugar en donde quedarse del aclamado director Sam Mendes o la más reciente cinta bélica 13 horas de Michael Bay. Aunque muchos aseguraban que Krasinski estaba destinado a convertirse en una estrella de la comedia, su carrera como director ha demostrado que puede destacarse en más de un género cinematográfico. Su debut detrás de cámara fue con la adaptación de la novela Breves entrevistas con hombres terribles, que fue estrenada en el 2009. 7 años más tarde estrena la comedia dramática The Hollards sobre un artista fracasado que regresa a su pueblo natal para reencontrarse con su pasado y lidiar con la enfermedad de su madre. De forma inesperada, Krasinski recibió el guión de Un lugar en silencio e inmediatamente quedó tan emocionado con su premisa que decidió reescribirlo para hacer que la historia fuese aún más personal y así dirigirla. Esta aterradora cinta fue estrenada en el festival South by Southwest, en donde recibió elogios de los expertos de la industria y actualmente mantiene la calificación de 100% de aceptación en el portal de crítica especializada Rotten Tomatoes. Dejemos que el propio John sea quien nos cuente qué fue lo que le llamó la atención de esta historia para querer dirigirla. So, I'm a huge fan of your work, but right now I have to say that I hate you because I haven't been this scared in a movie theater since a long time.
I will take that as a compliment.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Indeed it is. But I wanted to ask you, what drew your attention to wanting to tell this movie and to direct it? Because it's like a change of pace from your work as a director.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody would look at my name and say, like, that's the guy I want to see a horror movie from, and I don't think that's what I thought either. The truth of the matter is I actually have always been scared of horror movies. I can't watch them. I'm too much of a scaredy cat. I now watch a lot of them after preparing for this. I love horror movies now. But I think for me, it wasn't about the scares that I wanted to do this movie. It was about the other side of it. This movie is really about parenthood and about family and about the power of what you would do to protect your kids. And so as a parent, but a recent parent at the time, we had just had our second daughter 3 weeks before I read the original script. So, I mean, I was a perfect candidate to read the script. I was wide open emotionally. I was an open nerve of fear and scared. And so I wanted to put my entire personal experience into this movie. So when I rewrote the movie, I was writing exactly that, this idea of an emotional side to the movie. And to be honest, it's one of my favorite compliments of audiences that are seeing the movie is, I never thought I'd cry in a horror movie, and that's just so cool, and I appreciate that because that's exactly what I feel.
Exactly, and sounds and silence are like leading characters in this film. And
absolutely.
And I want to know, how was the process of creating the sound design for this movie?
Oh, it was phenomenal. I mean, it's I'm such a nerd for learning new things, and certainly in this business, learning what everybody else does. And you know, I've directed movies before, so I know how important sound can be, but it's a completely different thing when you're creating the sound of a creature, when you're creating these crazy atmospheres, when you're creating tension, when you're creating tone, and then to be able to pull it out of the movie. You know, that's my favorite part of the movie, is being able to play with people's perspective and what you hear and what you don't hear and why. It was really fun.
And when you were rewriting the script, was Emily your first choice for the role? And how was it like being the boss of your wife for a couple of days?
I don't think I've ever been the boss of my wife, and that's how I like it. So, but no, I was definitely, when I was doing my rewrite, I absolutely saw her as the role. It was something that I wished she would do, and yet she was very busy. She was doing Mary Poppins, and like I said, we had just recently had our second daughter. So I was nervous to ask her, and I just thought, it can only go one of two ways for me, which is I say, do you want to do this? And she says no, which would be a very awkward dinner. Or she'd say, yeah, I'll do it for you. And that would be even worse to me because she's so good and she's so classy and she has such great taste. She's made the most amazing choices throughout her career. I just couldn't stomach the idea of her doing something for me and not for her. So when we did it organically, she actually was the one who asked to read the script. And when she did read the script, she finally said, I have to do this role, and it was the best compliment of my career.
And also, Noah and Millie, they are amazing. Was it hard to find them, the right actors for this?
We got really lucky because someone had recommended Noah because they had just seen The Night Manager, which is a great show, and he was amazing on it. And then randomly, George Clooney had just worked with him in Suburbicon, and being friendly with George, I wrote him an email saying, you know, what do you think about this kid? And he just said, listen, he's not only one of the best actors you'll ever meet, but he's one of the best people. He's such a good kid. He's so interested. He's so kind. You're going to have the best time in the world. And he was right. I did have the best time in the world. And as far as Millie goes, you know, it was non-negotiable for me to cast a deaf actress in this role because the character is deaf. But at the same time, I didn't know how lucky I would be in finding Millie herself, because Millie is such a special person. Emily and I are convinced she's not from this earth. She's an angel. And she's so giving and so kind with her experience because, to be honest, I was really excited about directing this movie, but I also didn't want it to feel inauthentic. So I wanted her to talk to me about everything, about being in a family that can hear when you're deaf. Do you ever get upset about being deaf? Do you ever feel empowered being deaf? And she was so generous with talking about what the world really meant to her and how she was experiencing it.
A continuación, Cambiaron al Mundo. Programa mixto, informativo y de opinión, con elementos de lenguaje, salud, sexo y violencia, apto para todo público.